the best little goodie bag thing that ever came with any of my supplements. Like Primal Queen is winning in that way.
Whatever works for you.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
Whatever works for you, Mel.
And it does. All right, you guys, welcome back to Humanhood Series, episode 5. Holy moly, how are we already in episode? Well, technically, this would be episode 12 in the grand scheme of Humanhood, because last season we had 7.
Mm-hmm.
This season we're at 5. Thank you guys for sticking with us. If you've made it this far in the series, we just want to give you our gratitude for being on this journey with us. We've received so much beautiful feedback for you. Currently, while we're filming, none of series 2 is out yet. So I'm really, really excited to see how you guys receive series 2 and the topics that we dove into this time around. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to definitely acknowledge our sponsors.
Yes.
I Do Experiences. If you saw last season, we talked about Desi at the very end. She has created this incredible, beautiful, intimate, chic venue here in South Scottsdale that you can literally host any experience that your heart desires. Weddings, podcasts, baby showers, birthdays, photo shoots, sound healing sessions, yoga sessions, healed girl house parties. This is the venue for all of your intimate dreams to make them come true. So shout out to I Do Experiences. All right. Let's get into it. As always, in the Humanhood series, we are always committed to humanizing your human experience and making personal development more personal. I am your girl, Melanie Peralta, with my co-host,
Casey Riley.
And today we are diving into the path versus the purpose, aka being a human in this reality, on this planet, in this culture, in this society that is constantly on the search for meaning, for significance, for purpose itself, and being in the challenge of the human experience that needs to pay bills and sometimes needs to have a regular job and sometimes just needs to prioritize family or your health in the midst of wanting to live an extraordinary life. If sometimes it feels like we're in a hamster wheel just trying to do all the things, man. And I feel like back in the day, that's I feel like it's a generational thing, because back in the day, our grandparents, they weren't out here trying, obviously there was the entrepreneurs who created the certain businesses, but the average everyday human being just wanted to be happy, healthy, have a family, be able to provide for that family, and just live a good life. Now, because of everything that we see on the internet, everything that we're exposed to, we're constantly in this search and this climb and in this seeking significance in one way or another. And is it really serving us? What's the balance? Like, is the struggle super necessary? We glorify entrepreneur life and business life and people out here making a massive impact, but there's impact that happens inside the household. There's impacts that happen within friendships and just within small communities, and it doesn't always need to be on a global scale for your purpose to be fulfilled. So You were really feeling inspired to dive into this topic, particularly Casey. So what was it about this topic that felt so significant for you to talk about?
Well, even today, I got a text message this morning from a friend, and he was asking about, do I know any life coaches for his wife? And I was like, well, tell me more, because, different coaches work on different things.
Totally.
And so he was sharing that she's feeling lost, that she's feeling lost in motherhood. She's feeling lost in her sister's shadow. She's losing a sense of self. And even if she were to have 5-10 hours a week to herself, what would I do with that time?
Right.
And so it's natural for all of us to be going through identity shifts and, like you mentioned, confusion, because now we have so much access to information, and I'm seeing you do great things and you're seeing me do great things, and we're inspiring one another. And the possibility and the opportunity that's available. So how do we embrace these parts of us, but also acknowledge, like, maybe this is just a part of me and it's not what I'm meant to be doing.
Yes.
We put so much pressure on ourselves to find our purpose and do something like crazy and expansive with our life, but maybe it's just a hobby.
Yeah, or maybe you want it for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
That's another thing, too.
Yeah, why do you want it?
Yeah.
But for me, what I'm really passionate about is the identity shifts that go on, because it's natural for us to evolve as humans. It's natural for us to change and reach and want to do things. But what I saw with myself before I really embraced this was the struggle of the identity shift. And I see that a lot with people as well. They get this itch to change and they get motivated, and then they fall back into these patterns and the past self, and they can't fully embrace their quote unquote purpose or that next level for them because of those identity shifts and the self-sabotage that comes along with it. And so I don't know, there's so many layers to this topic, and I'm curious to see where it goes. But I just know that it's a huge topic. People are, again, going back to the seeking purpose, seeking more, but where's the balance?
Right.
And where do you emphasize and where do you take the pressure off?
Ooh, okay. I have been on such a wild ride with this. Like just right now, before we started filming, I told you, hey, guess what I'm doing after this? Me and Monique are gonna be rehearsing. So you had mentioned that people, moving forward, they're wanting to pursue these different things. But sometimes what happens too is you're moving forward in life, you're evolving ahead, and you're taking on these new pursuits and these new things. But there's an old part of you that you're neglecting. There's an old part of you that you've shut off. Maybe when you were a kid, you loved to dance or you loved to paint, but now you're a CEO. So you can't go dance and paint because now you're a CEO, or now you're in corporate, or now you're a coach, or whatever you're doing now. You feel like there's no space for the artist in you to be and thrive. And that was my experience, actually, because I was in the music industry. But just like I said, maybe you're in it for the wrong reasons. As much as I loved singing and songwriting, I wanted to be famous. I did. When I was younger, I'm like, I want to be an international pop star.
Yeah.
Like that was a big goal of mine. I wanted to be known for what I did and all of that. So it's like I was in it because I loved it, but there was also other reasons why I wanted it. And then finally, when I let that go, I let it go to such an extreme level that I cut off the artist in me. And I said, I'm a coach now. And I've put myself in a coach box. And I thought for a long time that being a singer-songwriter in the music industry was my purpose. I thought, this is the thing that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This is what I'm here for. I have this voice. I'm supposed to use it in this way. And then when I became a coach, the stories that we tell ourselves, the meaning that we add to things, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a coach now. I was always meant to use my voice, but I was meant to use it like this. This is how I'm supposed to use my voice. And I was neglecting the singer-songwriter in me because I was in the coach box at that point. Because I'm like, well, this is my purpose. I'm impacting all these people. But deep down inside, this artist in me was like, hey, I'm over here. Like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And it took for me to go to Leslie Medley's retreat in Bali. Shout out to Leslie. Her retreats are absolutely incredible. For me to have a sacred space to embrace this part of my identity that I was silencing because I'm so focused on this specific career path that I felt like this part of me doesn't fit here. So I was sacrificing a part of my soul, because singing is absolutely a part of my soul, so that I could quote unquote fulfill my purpose over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously when I broke that mold and said, I am going to make music again, and then I did, now that opens up a whole other layer. But like you said, maybe some of these things aren't necessarily like the big ginormous thing that you want to do. Because I don't really have a huge desire to like go on tour and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to create. I just want to create. I want to put music out. I want that avenue to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I can admit I am still trying to find where these worlds completely weave in together in a way that makes total sense
Mm-hmm.
to me, because sometimes they still feel so separate.
Mm-hmm. And I love how everyone nowadays are so multidimensional.
Yes.
I got invited to this yoga event recently, and this woman, she's actually in the personal injury space.
Okay.
And so she sent me the invite, and I was like, "Oh, are you a yoga instructor?" And she's like, "Ha ha, no, like that's funny." But in my mind, I'm
could
like,
be.
you could be.
Yeah.
You literally could be, because I know attorneys who are sound healing artists. I know like all these people who have so many different parts of them.
Right.
And so I think that that's the beautiful thing about being in this time and day, is that you really get to embrace all sides of you. But what was coming up while you were sharing that was, you wanted to be famous and like sing and be on all these stages and whatnot. But like, what about the people who maybe their purpose isn't so big like that? Like the everyday person who's like, I don't really want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I can't sing. I can't dance. I don't do this stuff. Like, where's my purpose?
Yeah.
Because I see that a lot too, where people are like searching for this deeper meaning, and they feel like because they're not creative, or they don't have some crazy skill
Or talent. Yeah.
or something that they can share on social media, they're lacking purpose. And so I would love to touch on that a little bit for like the mom who's at home.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the caretaker at home, and like that is her role or her identity, and she's seeking purpose.
Yeah.
Or maybe the person who genuinely like likes the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, people. Like they get a bad rap. But like if you like going to work and clocking in and leaving, like that's okay to like that. But for them who's like, I kind of like it, but I feel like I should be doing something creative or have a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
Like what are your thoughts like for those people?
Well, again, just going back to the way that things are now, because my dad never asked himself that question. What's my purpose? No.
Yeah.
He just day by day made the choices to live a life that he was happy and proud of. Period. My dad's never he does a bunch of really cool things.
Yeah.
But he's not like skydiving's my purpose.
Yeah.
Or this. He was just like, these are just the things
Parts of me.
These are just parts of me that I've acquired throughout my life. And my dad, he always says like I'm a simple middle class man. Like my dad's so okay with that.
Yeah.
Like he loves that. And for him, the most important thing is just being happy. Just being happy and having a high quality family. And so I love that you asked that question, because that's how my sister is. So it's funny because me and my sister, we're so tight.
Yeah.
And we're so different. We're polar opposites. My sister has no dreams and ambitions that are like, to go and impact all these people or to build a business or to make a certain amount of money or whatever. She just wants to be an extraordinary mom.
Yeah.
She just wants to be a good mom to her kids, like, and just be happy.
Yeah.
And we come from a small town. And so I feel like that's a big small town paradigm as well, is just being fulfilled with the simple things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think the only thing is we must acknowledge the programming. We talked about programming in the last episode, and it's the programming of what is significant and what's not, what's valuable and what's not. Like, love my mom to death, but she does this thing with me and my sister, and she's like, and I always have to check her when she does this because it's so messed up. She's so unconscious to it, but she's like, oh yeah, this is my star daughter, or like, and then Audrey's or this is my sweet daughter, this is my sour daughter. She like puts us in these positions because I'm doing XYZ, but like my sister is being the type of mom that she never had.
Yeah.
For her 4 children.
Yeah.
You know,
and that is making just as much as an impact as you directly teaching people.
totally.
She's actually raising the people
totally
who are going to be making the change.
Yeah, and like, you know, everybody has their things, but my sister's content with that. She's like, let me live.
Yeah.
You know, she's and I'm glad that she's so embedded in her individuality enough that she's not sitting there comparing herself to me. She's like, that's what my sister does. Good for her.
Yeah.
Cool for her, man. Like, this
Yeah.
is who I am. So to those people who are in that space, it really just is about being okay with your truest, honest desires.
Yeah.
I have so many cousins, family members who they love the simple life. They don't want to move to the city. They look at where we live and they're like, "Oh, that's you live in the city life. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We're chilling over here. We just want to
Yeah.
drink our beers in the desert." And you know what's funny is that when I go to my hometown and I go drink beers with them in the desert, I'm like, "This is extraordinary."
Yeah. Like, that's extraordinary to you. Yeah.
I'm like, "This is so peaceful
Yeah.
and chill. Like, this is your life. You just get to kick it like this, and like you go to work on Monday, and then when you leave work, you don't think about it." Because you're not an entrepreneur that has to create and innovate and do all the things. You don't have to be on social media. You just like we actually should really take a look at how liberating and peaceful and calm and free the other side
Yeah.
of life compared to what we experience on a daily basis can really be.
Yeah.
And there's value and beauty and bliss in each one. It's not one is more glorious than the other one, because sometimes we could envy the person who is so at peace and fulfilled with the most simplest life. Like, God, you know, like you just have it so chill over there. You don't
Yeah.
have all this stress. You do what you do and you come home and you be with your family, and that's enough for you.
Could you imagine?
What?
Could you just imagine having a life where you put your phone down at a certain amount of time of day, and that's it?
Sometimes
And your mind shuts off and you are present with your family, and that is it.
yeah. Sometimes I feel like I want that.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Like, as of late, we had this conversation.
Yeah.
Me being in this space where I've made a career for myself in this industry, and there's a part of me that wants to continue pursuing these big dreams and these big visions and building a certain brand and building a certain business. And then there's a part of me that just wants to find my person and have babies and stay at home and make, tortillas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
There's this quote in this video that's going out there on social media. I don't know if you've seen it. And it's like, there's some guy somewhere by a waterfall, not angry at all about what's going on in the world, not concerned about his algorithm and his insights. And he is just totally at peace because he doesn't even know what is going on.
Yeah.
Because he's living just such a natural, peaceful life. And that, it's like, oh, even when you go on vacation, you disconnect for a little bit. Like, I don't think I'm about my phone at all.
Yeah.
When I'm traveling or doing something else, and just the relief the relief I feel in my body from that. And so I guess like my takeaway with this right now is, for the person who is feeling like they need to seek and find purpose and do all this, it's also okay to be chill with your life
Totally.
and be happy with it.
Totally.
It's like the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it can be really beautiful. And my sister's the same way. Like, she works a traditional job. She has her family, but she's so wonderful. Like, I always wanted her to open up like a tutoring service for kids or something, because she used to be
I
a
want to
teacher.
meet your sister.
I know. We need to have her out here.
Dude, where is she?
Dallas.
Aw.
I know.
Okay.
Dallas.
Okay.
But she used to be a preschool teacher, and she's so patient with kids, and she's so great with them. And I'm like, you should start like a tutoring, like an after school tutoring or like a daycare or something. Like, she's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, but you're so great at it. She's like, I don't want to.
Just because I'm great at it does not mean I want to do that.
I was like, I will help you. She's
Dude.
like, I don't need your help.
I've done that with my sister too.
Yeah.
My sister, she's so crafty. Dude.
Like, start an Etsy page, sell your stuff.
She could make anything. She used to make these adorable little hair bows and stuff for my nieces. And I was like, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you could create a boutique with those.
Yeah.
And she's like, no.
Not everything is a business.
I know. Not everybody thinks that way.
I know.
She's like, these are just for my daughters, okay? I don't want to make a whole fucking store.
The potential. The potential.
Yeah.
But going back to like the identity piece of it, what was your experience? I know you talked about like the music part, like the artistry of you, but what was the shift for you and how did you feel when you were stepping from being like old Melanie living in Hollywood to your awakening and really stepping into that new identity of like, this is who I am. I no longer operate from those old programs. Like, did you feel any pullbacks? Was it easy? Was it hard? Like, how did that journey look for you?
I think the biggest thing within my being, it was easy. It was the easiest thing ever. In my everyday life, it was really hard because I felt like I was letting everybody down. When I left the music industry and decided to take a completely different path, I felt like I was letting so many people down. My dad especially. And I remember this text. I'll never forget this text that I sent my dad when I found out that I was pregnant with Bakai. And so I was like, well, I was already making my way out of the music industry, but now, because back then, I'm so glad that the music industry has evolved. I'm very proud of seeing what I see these days, because back then, getting pregnant was career suicide.
Right.
Like, if you got pregnant, nobody wanted to work with you. Like, now you can get pregnant. You can be performing with pregnant on stage, and
It's embraced.
And everybody loves it. But
Yeah.
back then, it wasn't a thing. So me getting pregnant was like, now it's really over. You know?
Yeah.
But I remember at that time, I was working with this producer, and when I got pregnant, he pretty much was like, yeah, I don't want to invest into this anymore. And I remember telling my dad that I was like, it doesn't matter that he doesn't want to work with me anymore. I sent him this super long message. I think I even have the screenshot of it still somewhere. Well, it wasn't a screenshot because back then those phones didn't screenshot. It was like a picture of the text message. I think I still have it somewhere, like on my Facebook or something. But I was telling him, I'm meant to do more, Dad. I'm meant to impact people. I'm meant to help people heal and grow and expand. And this was way before I even thought about doing an event. It was just something that was burning inside of me that I knew I'm meant for so much more. But I hated disappointing everybody. I was like the hometown hero for so long when it came to like the music, because everybody in my town would be like, oh, Melanie's doing this. And my cousins, oh, Melanie's doing that. And the town's so small that when I go to town, everyone's like, oh, how's your music career? And I'm like,
and it's hard to break the identity when people associate you so much.
Yes.
So that's another huge thing. Like, what does Tony Robbins say? The strongest human force is to stay aligned with your identity. Like, the strongest force in human nature is to stay aligned with your identity. I think that's it.
I can't remember.
And so pretty much like whatever your identity is, like you're the hometown star. If everyone keeps asking you questions about that, it's going to be harder to break that because it's who you are and it's rooted so deeply.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where the challenge comes in when people want to change, whether it's something like as drastic as like a major career move like that, where the hometown is like rooting you on.
Yes.
Or the person who maybe like is the attorney and they're like, well, I don't really want to do this anymore, but everyone knows me as the attorney.
Right.
Or everyone knows Casey as like this marketing person over here. And so the more people know you as something, the harder it is to change.
Yeah.
And going to like the social dynamics, and I know I keep like talking about drinking, but it's just such a relevant point. If everyone knows you as the drinker,
Yeah.
as the partier, it's going to be very hard to break that identity when you go out with your friends and they're like, shots, because they know you as a shot taker.
Totally.
And so it's like that rooted identity that's within us. We naturally, it's like a subconscious thing. We want to stay rooted in that identity, which makes it really hard to break. And I love your example because it's like such a powerful example of like a whole family in town, like really like, this is our pride and joy.
Yeah, everyone is so proud of me. Every time people see my dad that haven't seen him in a long time, they say, "Is Melanie still singing?" Mm-hmm. Everybody asks him that.
How does he feel responding to that?
Well,
because I know parents, when they get asked a lot about stuff, like it can make them uncomfortable, especially parents who haven't like done this work,
right,
and aren't comfortable with navigating those conversations.
I think in the past, he wasn't very proud to say that I wasn't doing music anymore.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now that I followed my nudges and really stepped into what I was being called to do as a coach and a speaker and a leader in the personal development industry. And now that he really sees and understands what I'm doing now, which if you listen to episode 2 in the last series, you understand how my dad finally really gets why what I do now is so important to me. Now he's like, yeah, she's still singing, she's still writing music, but she's also doing this now.
Yeah.
And he's so proud of me in this avenue. Mm-hmm. And he just can't believe that I've done this all by myself.
Yeah.
You know? So now he's like, yeah, she's still singing, but it was funny because I get that question a lot. People always say, "Oh, are you still singing? Are you still singing?" So on my Instagram, like a little while back, I was working on my computer and I was singing my heart out to this song that I love. And I posted it on my Facebook where all my hometown family people are. And I put, everybody always asks me, you know, if I'm still singing. I'll never stop singing. It'll always be a part of me. Yes, I'll be an entrepreneur and a mindset coach and all these things, but I'll always be a singer.
Yeah.
And my dad reposted it.
This is what I mean.
He reposted it and he was like, for everybody who's always asking if Mel's still singing, hell yeah, she is.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was. It was really, really sweet. So I think that's another thing too. Aside from being the person who's in the midst of the change, whatever it is, whether society would look at it as a step forward or as a step back, which is totally subjective, this is also for the people who are observing somebody else in that process.
Yeah.
And supporting them in that. Because if I decided to stop being an entrepreneur tomorrow and I wanted to live a regular, simple life and just have babies and like make tortillas.
We're putting that out there.
Well, because everybody's into sourdough bread, but I'm like, I would love to learn how to make sourdough bread, but like, really, we would get more use out of me making tortillas. Right? So, being the person that can observe somebody else in their change and their transition and not put your judgment on it and say, oh, but you could be doing so much better, or I want more for you, or, you know, your potential, and all of this is embrace somebody else's path, support somebody else's path. And who knows, maybe you're coming from a protective standpoint because you feel like they're making a big mistake. Let them make the mistake.
Yeah.
Let them learn. Let life teach them. Let their lessons, you know, let their lessons help them unfold what they're genuinely supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
We all are trying to figure it out, dude. Mm-hmm. And we go through seasons of wanting to do this and XYZ because for a while, my sister, she did start working and then she was doing so great at work. And then they were offering her management positions and all this stuff. And she was like, oh my God, this feels great. But now that I'm doing this, I realized I just want to be back home with my kids. And then so she did that. And everybody was like, what the fuck? You were climbing the ladder and they wanted to promote you to manager. But she's like, that's not what I want to do. And that's not what's best for my family right now.
Yeah.
So those are also a part of it. There are practical layers to this, like we talked about before too with me. Of course I want to be doing all of these things when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, but right now the most important thing for me is my motherhood and the type of availability that I have for my son mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. And if I'm consumed with trying to scale to millions of dollars right now as a single mom in my reality, I know what that's going to require. I know what that's going to take. So for me, it's also about being practical sometimes, because the truth is your desires and your dreams, they may need to be on hold for a little while. You may need to save up money. You may need to get out of your living situation. We do have to prioritize like the root chakra foundation of just human stability.
Safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like going back to the whole 9 to 5 thing, like practicality versus your purpose.
Yeah.
Like feeling okay with where you're at. And also like if you are an entrepreneur and you've been at it for a while and you're like, I need a paycheck every 2 weeks. Like knowing that it's okay to change and shift and go do something that will lighten your load and make life a little bit more easy for you.
Totally.
Because we do live in this 3D world. We have to pay pills. We have to pay bills. We got to do all the things. And just popping pills. We got to do all the things. And there's a lot of shame around change. Like you said, like if you're observing people.
If it's deemed as a forward upgrade or a backward step.
Yes.
Where people make the judgments of what that is.
Right. And so it's like being so solid in yourself.
Yes.
I feel like this is a theme of what we talk about a lot. Like knowing yourself so well and knowing that every choice that you're making is serving your own purpose.
Yes.
And being okay with it and blocking out the family and like, well, what will my dad tell the family or what will my dad tell the community or whatever. And like being so just like devoted to your own path, no matter what that looks like, and being open to exploring also. Like people get a lot of like hate for trying so many different things too. And it's like, there she goes again, like failing at that, or like, what is she up to now? And it's like, can we not just be curious and like want to try something new?
Right.
Can we not just like have a hobby for a couple of months and then like get over it?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, totally.
Like, you don't know unless you try. And so just like giving people grace and most importantly, yourself grace in that entire process. Loosening up the judgment on self, loosening up the judgment on others, and just letting people live their fucking lives.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I talked about this at the RGC conference in Orlando. And I told the story of how I went from the music industry to getting pregnant and coming home. And the last job that I had when I lived in Hollywood, I was working for WME, the largest entertainment company in the entire world. It was like I went from working for an entertainment company that managed the NFL to being a broke stay-at-home mom on food stamps. And then finally, when I knew I needed to work again, I went and got a job as a waitress. I could have went and got a job anywhere after the last job that I came from, literally.
Yeah.
But I chose to be a waitress very intentionally because that's what was practical for my life. I was like, I was breastfeeding my son. I wanted to be available for him. I wanted to have a flexible schedule. I wanted to be able to make good money fast. There was all these different things, but that was a humbling experience for me. But because I was so rooted in my identity and my values and why I made that choice, there was no shame around it at all. I was firm in this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. And then when I decided to start throwing my events and wanted to be a coach and decided to go work at True Food Kitchen, same thing there. I was like, yes, I'm a waitress, but I had the paradigm in my mind, like I'm a waitress right now because I know what I'm working towards. But I shared this on stage at the conference too. I was like, shout out to mushrooms because shout out to mushrooms, man. Love them. I was on a mushroom trip and I was like, I'm a server right now, but I am a server. I serve people. That is what I do. So I am living my purpose right now as a server at this restaurant, working towards the bigger goal and the bigger dream. So for the people who do have that ambitious nudge in them, but they're, still at what they would maybe consider their level one, like I was, know where you are and why you're there and what you're doing and what is the mission. Because we keep talking about, what if the people who just want to live a simple life? That's okay. But if you're a person who's currently living the simple life and you don't want to be, then there's also steps and there are like stepping stones that need to be taken to do what we're doing or to pursue something that they want to pursue.
Yeah.
So going back to knowing who you are, what's true for you, what are your internal desires, what are the thoughts that are showing up, what are the feelings that are showing up as you're dropping into those desires. Is it genuinely like, oh, I should be doing more, but I don't really want to? Or is it, I want to be doing more, but I'm just not right now? Which one are you?
Yeah.
What voices in your head? Is it family voices? Is it society voices? Is it Instagram voices? What voices in your head are pulling you in which direction? And what's actually true for you?
I have those moments with me when I like actually have some peace in my mind. Like everything is quiet and everything is like calm at home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like some free time right now. And then I immediately think like, I want to create something new. I got to put another event on the books, like da 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 da. And I'm like, just stop it. Enjoy the peace.
Yeah.
Enjoy the silence. And why? Are you trying to fill it? Because that's what you should be doing. That's the program you're under. That's what everyone's telling you and you're feeling influenced. Or are you really motivated and excited about this?
Right.
Because this piece feels really good right now.
Totally.
I'm like sitting at home and hearing the birds chirping. I'm like,
that's been the season I've been in.
to do for 3 hours.
Yeah. Everyone's like, you're not on social media that much creating content. I'm like, this is my content.
Yeah.
This is the content that I'm making right now.
Yeah.
I'm not showing up making reels about mindset coaching and generational pattern breaking.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing right now. And I'm so okay with that.
And I'm loving this format too, because
too.
just going from like everyone's attention span is so low right now. But I do know, because I know this for myself, there are people craving depth.
Yes.
There are people craving conversation. And like, I seriously just can't thank everyone enough who is watching this and like giving us your precious time to go deep with us.
Yes.
Because those fucking reels that are like 7 seconds long, like stop it. I cannot. And I know we've all done them. Okay, we've all done them. Did one recently. But like people are craving depth and substance and just not this like quick like energy that we're in all the time. It's like the people who can slow down and like take a breath and ask themselves these questions and like move from a place of their own internal purpose and their own internal desire. Like I feel like that's winning when you are so solid in your own choices.
Oh, 1000%.
And not heavily influenced by everything else.
No, because at the end of the day, when you get to the end of your life, whatever it ends up looking like because of whatever path you decided for whatever reason you decided it, are you going to be happy?
Yeah.
Are you going to be like, this is great?
Yeah.
Like my Tata Monchi, bro, that man, he just sits on his porch past 5 o'clock. He drinks his beers and he smokes his doobies. What he calls them. Smokes his doobies, drinks his beers, and he's just the happiest man on the world. Such a simple man. He only wants to shop at Goodwill.
That's where you get it from.
He only wants to shop at Goodwill. With all his extra money, he just buys all these cars that are broken and spends time fixing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is so content. And he loves who he is. He's so himself. And he doesn't sit there and wish for anything else. And like, that's what matters.
Yeah.
When you get to that stage in your life, because we're all going to get there eventually.
Yeah.
And when you do, how are you going to feel about it?
Yeah.
I think the important thing about this conversation and the conversations that we've kind of just been having in general, including the last one, is in this series, we're never here to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
We're only ever here to acknowledge what every human is experiencing and every layer that Casey and I can see from, you know, the wellness episode that we did, the aging episode, the social dynamics. We're only ever here to have conversations that tend to the conversations that we know you're having inside of your own heart, mind, and spirit. And to not say, because when you were talking about social media and all the different reels and stuff, my issue with social media is everyone's trying to tell you what to do.
Right.
Everyone's telling you, do this, don't do this, do it like this, blah, 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 blah. And we're just here to talk about the possibilities of you can go this way, you can go that way, you can do it like this, you can do it like that. Ultimately, the thing that matters the most is what's going to fulfill you, what's going to bring you peace, what's going to bring you wholeness, what's going to bring you a true fulfillment in your life. And that's the thing that matters most. So if you are on that quest for purpose, but it's maybe not feeling super authentic for you, it feels like you're being pressured to find that purpose, evaluate that. If you genuinely feel like you're full on living your purpose, and maybe you are feeling the pressure to continue that even though you're wanting to shift, play with that. Entertain that. You are a sovereign human being. Exercise your sovereignty, baby.
Yeah.
Play, have fun, explore, enjoy the human experience, and don't be a pussy ass little bitch.
Oh my God.
Go for it, all right? Whatever it is, okay? If you want to stop your business for 6 months and open a tortilla factory, do it, okay?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
If you want to stop teaching 3rd grade and you want to start pole dancing, just kidding.
Have you done a pole dancing class?
No, but I want to.
It's so fun.
Is it? Is it hard?
Oh my gosh. It is.
Upper body strength, right?
It is so hard. You might be easier because you're like smaller.
Yeah.
I'm so tall. You're like, there's like way more body to lift.
Totally.
But it is really hard.
We should do one.
We should do fun. We should do fun. We should definitely do it.
Okay.
It's so much fun. It's so sexy. They put on like the best music and you're just having so much fun. But then you leave with bruises.
Really?
You know how like you see strippers with bruises all over?
It's the pole.
It's the pole because you're clenching on with like your legs and you're climbing this pole and like it bruises you.
Wow.
And if you slide down it, it fucking hurts.
So should you be oiled up then?
No.
Oh.
No. I think they give you something.
That's a valid question.
They dry the pole with something.
Baby powder?
I think it is.
Okay.
So it's just like softer.
Okay.
But it is so much fun.
All right.
But I was in excruciating pain
Really?
for like a week afterwards.
Okay. I'm right. I'm down to explore that avenue.
Yeah, and it's just fun to like twirl
It's a little
around.
sexy,
And the
Casey.
pole actually spins on its own.
Oh, I
so
know.
all you have to do is like just one little kick and it takes you.
I know, it blew my mind when I found out that the pole is what's spinning, not the women.
It's the pole.
I never knew that. I was like, whoa.
You know, I have so much respect for strippers now. It is such an underrated industry. One, to have the athletic build to do that.
Totally.
Two, to have the confidence to shake your ass with your tits out in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
No.
I could never. So shout out to the strippers. but a lot of them are on drugs.
No.
I mean, not all of them.
All right. I think that's where we end this. I think that's where this is over.
You have choice to be a stripper if that is your path.
We support you as long as you're not on drugs.
Yeah, so my takeaway from all of this is I loved what you said about being a sovereign bee. You are a sovereign stripper. I'm serious. I have respect for strippers after taking the class.
I believe you.
But anyways, really feeling into just being so solid in who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm dead. No, really, it's being so solid in who you are and the choices that you make so that you're not pulled and have this constant search and
Right.
seek for purpose. Because just as we seek a lot for our health and we seek a lot for these different areas, we can get sucked into seeking out our purpose. And that can almost feel more daunting and tough than the other areas because it's this like idea that has been blown up so
Right.
much these days.
It could take you out of actually living. The
Back
concept
to the
of
seeking versus living.
human doing, human being.
Yeah. Yeah. And just know that your purpose, everyone's purpose will look different for everybody. And sometimes that purpose is raising a beautiful family. It's not going out there and singing and touring and doing all this stuff. It could be just being a positive person in this world.
Right.
Like maybe that's enough right now.
Yeah.
You know, so just giving yourself grace in that space.
We love you guys. We support you. Have an amazing rest of your life. Bye.